Good morning, everyone. And I'd like to, first of all, thank Francesco and everyone involved in this event for inviting me to speak. I've been given a little extra time because my talk is in two parts. One, a set of ideas and possibilities and so forth. The other one is to rather briefly, but hopefully comprehensively describe the planetary collegium, which is a response, although it's nearly 20 years old now, it's a kind of response to the very issues which you have raised about art and education. So some of the key words that I'm interested in using here, they do conform a little bit to what in our keynote has already been referred to as important in terms of new vocabulary and new language. New behavior, new language, new institutions all come together. I thought I'd start by looking the way that we all know the world is, but why not just share that together again, because there have been quite massive changes in some ways. Our planet is telematic now, our media is moist, that is, there's a convergence between the dry silicon computational systems and wet biological systems and processes, which are all coming together in new instrumentalities and new mentalities. Our mind is technoetic, that's to say the noesis consciousness is very much affected, extended, possibly improved, changed by technology. It's technoetic. Our sensorium is clearly extended. Our identity is multiple. I think we need to think, I'm sure you do, a great deal about the way that we're engaged in constructing or reconstructing our many selves, each individual one of us now living in various kinds of virtual and we could say actual spaces. Our body is transformable, our art is syncretic. I'll talk about syncretism because I think it is really key issue in what we're talking about today. Our reality is variable. There are many realities that we inhabit, we flow through in various ways, and our substrate is increasingly nano. It's at that level up, I suppose, that we consider the materiality and the immateriality that we inhabit. But perhaps the most urgent, and I call it eco-necessity at the moment, is not so much not simply the care of the planet, but the reinvention of the carers, that is, of ourselves. So I guess art will become progressively more syncretic. By syncretism, I think you all know what it means, but I have my own interpretation. Of course, it's derived from the Cretans, the ancient Cretans, who were always fighting amongst themselves, we're told, in ancient times until the enemy was at the gate. That is to say, the outsiders were attacking their very land, and so everyone got together. All their differences were not resolved. They kept their differences, but they managed to create a kind of unity. And so it's this attempt to reconcile and analogize initially disparate religious beliefs and cultural practices, seeing likeness within unlike things. And I think that would be useful to us now, not simply in art practice, but in understanding these multi-layered worldviews, material and metaphysical, that are emerging from our engagement with pervasive computational technologies and the post-biological systems we're involved in. So syncretism is rich in value, I think, in that I'm not going to argue the case for these statements here. Perhaps you would care to reflect on them, is all I could do within this time. But syncretism accelerates technoetic evolution in my mind. It destabilizes orthodoxies of thought, we know that, historically, particularly from the Middle Ages. It challenges representation, it fights dogma, it confronts materialism, it demands participation, it hybridizes identity, it smooths social interaction, and it reorders time and space. So I think art will become progressively more syncretic, or if it doesn't, it will risk losing entirely its social and spiritual significance. And in this evolving ecology of mind, a new understanding of matter that we have now, we need to seed new organisms of learning and inquiry. This is what we're about today.